how Miralepa emerged.
All right, Miralepa is actually the name of an 11th century Tibetan saint who used to play music all the time. He used to sing all the time, basically, and he used to teach through his songs and stuff. And so we thought it would be a cool name, since most of the work we're doing is through music and having to do with music. We thought it would be interesting to name it after him. He's one of the most famous Tibetan saints. Originally, we had sampled some monks on ill communication, and then we were trying to figure out what to do with the royalties from the monks we sampled, and we thought that we'd like to try to give that money back to the culture, to help the culture, rather than any one specific monastery or something. So we ended up donating the royalties from that entire song and then another entire song, and decided to create our own organization. Aaron Potts is the director of it, and so that was the original intention. And then we started doing educational work. Then Miralepa brought some booths out on and then we started doing educational work. Then Miralepa brought some booths out on Lollapalooza with us, and then and they came out on our own tour, Lollapalooza, with us, and then and they came out on our own tour with a booth, and then we started talking about doing the Tibetan Freedom Concert. Is this too noisy with the trucks? Are you all right?
I'm hearing you fine.
All right.
It's loud. It's New York. We wait for every truck to go by.
Yeah. All right. I have been studying different religions and just trying to learn about spirituality and how that fit into different cultures and different societies and stuff, and just trying to understand what religion was and spirituality. And then at one point when I was traveling in Nepal, actually the second time that I was in Nepal, I met some Tibetan refugees. I was actually in the mountains trekking, and I met a number of refugees that had just escaped from Tibet. And someone who was with us spoke Tibetan and started translating. And I just got really fascinated with it from then, and started specifically studying Tibetan religion and also working to try to help them gain their freedom. I think most Tibetan people are really psyched when anyone is doing anything to try to help raise awareness about what's happening there, because most any Tibetan person that you meet has either been in prison themselves or has family members that are in prison or have been killed as a result of this, or have family members that have been sterilized. It's really normal for people to have forced abortions and forced sterilizations performed. Most any Tibetan you meet has horror stories to tell you of what's going on there. And since their cause is completely nonviolent, since they're basing their whole struggle for freedom on nonviolence, their real only weapon to help change what's happening there is by raising awareness and bringing out the truth. So I think when anybody does anything that helps bring light to what's happening there, they're ecstatic about it. It's like it's exactly what they're trying to do.
What is the Dalai Lama's response to your efforts?
I think the Dalai Lama is glad when anybody is doing anything to help bring awareness to this. I think he was really excited about the concerts.
Did you meet the Dalai Lama?
Yeah, I met him a number of times.
How was that? That must have been pretty incredible.
Yeah, he's pretty amazing. He's a really incredible man.
Can you talk a little bit about the various artists that have been involved, and for what reason did they decide?
Mainly just artists who we thought actually cared about what was going on. Like we just were trying to figure out the artists that really seemed to care about human rights and care about people.
Have you spoken to representatives of the Chinese government? Have you ever had the opportunity to hear what their thoughts are about all of this action?
But I've spoken to a lot of representatives of our government. I've gone lobbying a couple of times in Washington, and I think it's important for all of us to keep doing that, to keep putting pressure on our elected officials and remind them to put human rights on the front of their agenda, because I think they have a lot of things on their agendas. They're kind of and mostly having to do with finance and big business, and I think that we need to keep reminding them that human rights is the most important thing.